Coffee's ready. What have you got?
Hello. Yes, it's Star Wars Sunday, and I'm going to be answering a couple of questions from the comments in YouTube. So let's roll the intro, and I'll go in the study and have a chat. Hi, welcome to the channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Langers, and as you can see, I am the overgrown child that is the Scruffy Trader. And yes, I clown around, drink probably more coffee than what's good for me, because we all know Scruffy likes a coffee. But I am very good at my job, and that's what trading is for me. It's a job, and I'm trying to show it in the real world, not like these clowns.
You ding-dong!
Give it to me again.
You ding-dong!
Oh, make it stop!
Sorry guys, I had to get one in. Because trading is a full-time job for me. And when you see me doing a live trade, it's always uploaded pretty much the same day. But I show you it open, it close, it's P&L. And I leave the camera running so you can see that it's me that's doing it. And you'll see the highs and the lows in my expressions, because trading is incredibly stressful, which is why I do this channel. I do it for pure enjoyment. You know, I'm not a teacher, but I don't mind helping, and I hope that you find some value in the content and hopefully learn the odd one or two things. So if you want trading in the real world, please subscribe. Genuinely helps the channel. Hit the like and drop a little comment below, and I'll do my best to answer it. And talking of answering comments, that's exactly what I'm doing today. While I've been having the weekend off, I was having a read through the comments on the various videos that I've made, and rather than type out responses to each one, the last 7, I thought, well, I'll just do a Q&A with Scruff. And everybody can sort of learn from them. And it came from the last question that I'm going to answer, because I think it is a valuable topic to discuss. So we'll go through them. It's only a couple of minutes, and see what we can find. Okay, so off we go. So the first question is from Ray J. I'm not sure of your destination for your shout out, but I thank you for the question. And his question is, any suggestions on what profitable technique is more simple to learn as a beginner? Okay, it's quite a wide question to answer. There's no one fits all, but the technique that you want to be focusing on is the dominant direction of a market. You see, if you get the direction right, it'll forgive a bad entry. And it'll certainly forgive a bad stop as well, you know. So look to find out whether a market is in a trend or a range, and then place your trades based on that finding. Okay. But for technique, direction is king. Okay. Thank you. The next one is Mohammed Al Samah. Again, I'm not sure of your destination, but I thank you. And his question is, hold on. Your videos are speedy. Please teach us normally how to trade Forex market. Again, it's a wide question, Mohammed. I'm not an educator. I'm not really have a desire to be a teacher. The idea is to show you how trading can be done in the real world. I do put strategies up. They're not mine. They're just strategies that I find from other traders, and I try and adapt them and show you how they can be used. But in answer to your question about teaching, just keep your eye on, and you'll be able to make your own plan up with little bite-sized chunks. I did a video yesterday on the MACD, and you should be able to find a way to trade. So there you are. It was a bit of a wishy-washy answer, but I'm not a teacher, Mohammed. Okay. The next one comes from Fred Archer in the good old UK, the land of the beating heart, my home. Okay, Fred. Do you consult the FX calendar before you select a pair? And how far do you let a trade go against you before pulling the plug? Okay, double barrel question. Firstly, yes, I look at the economic calendar every day, but I don't use it to select a pair. When I'm selecting a pair, I have a calculation that I work out, gives me an idea of strength. And then what I'm looking to do is find a market that is moving quickly that I can either trade with or against. So that's the first thing that I'm looking for. The next part is I do look at the calendar, but I only look at it so I'm aware of what's happening on a day. Because if I'm trading a non-farm payroll day, I know the market will spike at 1:30 when those figures are released, and the same when an interest rate is released. Although, saying that, I don't really trade them much. I'll trade the non-farm payroll because I can find that relatively easy. But I don't trade news. I just stay out of the market when they're going to be announced because there'll be a little spike, and I often find the market continues in the dominant trend anyway, and I just don't want my stops to be caught at that moment. Which leads me on to the second part of your question. When do I decide to pull the plug? It's kind of a hard one to answer because fixed stops don't work. If you have a fixed stop of 10 pips, 20 pips, or even 30 pips, I'll guarantee you will have death by 1,000 cuts. A stop needs to be where a stop needs to be. So I can have a stop that's 10 pips, I can have a stop that's 100 pips. It all depends on the trade. And the way that I do it is I set my hard stop hidden behind some structure points that are quite far away, and then I'll mark out somewhere on the chart that I re-evaluate my decision. And once it gets into that area, I will go through the whole chart again, top to toe, and I'll decide whether I'm right or wrong. And if the parameters have changed, I'll just pull the plug. Okay. Next one, pip trader. I know who you are. The answer is no, no, and thrice no. There is no amount of money in this world. Next one, Mr. Ben from Sheffield. Now there's a name from my past, Mr. Ben. For those of you overseas who don't know who Mr. Ben is, he was a childhood character that used to go into a fancy dress shop when I was a child, and he used to rob the place every week because he never paid for his outfits. People of my generation will chuckle and know exactly what I mean by that. Sorry for taking you, Mickey. It may be completely unrelated, but it did make me laugh. Okay. Will you ever sell a course? No, is the short answer. I do get asked a lot, will I put a course together? And a little bit like I was saying to the two chaps that started, I'm not an educator. So I've got no real desire to sell a course. I might put a strategy together and cobble it in and then sort of put it for the coffee fund or something like that. I don't know, because I do get asked pretty much all the time. What I'll say is I can't teach you the way I day trade because it's quite unique, because it's a visual way of trading and it's something that you either have or you haven't. It's not mechanical. However, when I do swing trades, that is 90% mechanical, and I could teach it quite well. And most of my wealth comes from swing trading. So I don't know. I'll tell you what. I'll let you guys decide. Put it in the comments below if you would be interested, and then I'll consider it. All right. But it won't be a money earner. It'll just be something going to charity. All right. And before the freeloaders jump on, there is no way I'll do it cheap. All right. It will be very expensive if I did it. Okay. So I'll let you guys decide. But personally, it's not really something I want to do. Okay. And the next one is Fooey. I'm not rightly sure where you live, Fooey. And I'm not rightly sure whether I thank you for this question. When do I get to see you singing? Well, you see me singing all the time. And let's be honest, there's nothing like a good old sing song. So here we go. You're right. You got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run. You better count your money. When you're sitting at the table, be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. There you go. The Gambler. How apt is that for a trading Q&A? Too many of you treat trading as gambling. Doesn't mean to say you can't have a little bit of fun. Now, the last question, I'll just pull this back up. And the last question comes from Krish in New York, USA. I've spoken to Krish a number of times, and I feel what you're saying. And it's your question that has triggered this Q&A, because I think it's very important. And I'll read it. I'll read it. What do you do to get back in focus? Because yesterday I felt out of it, maybe just mentally. Needed a lift up. So I was wondering what you do when you're feeling like this. Do you take a break from trading? Okay. This is one of those questions that is more individual than trading, because it's all based on your own personality. However, to put it into context, I do have bad days. I have some stinking bad days. And it could be anything. Some days I am physically in a lot of pain. And if you've seen some of the other videos, you've seen them. Not that you might be able to see it, but I have a huge scar in my throat. I broke my neck a while ago. And I have a nerve damage. So some days I have quite a bit of pain running through me. And I'm not firing on all cylinders. So on those days, I have a day off. Because I just can't think straight. Okay. But then there's other days where I might have just woke up and I'm out of sorts. You know, I had a bad night the night before. Maybe Winky and I have had a bit of a dust up, because for all we have a fantastic marriage and she is the love of my life, we do fight. And if you're going to the keyboard and you're in an emotional state, and that could be upset or anger, you will take that out on the market and you'll make the wrong choice. So there's many ways you can sort of express your emotions in the market, you know. And if you're in any state, whether you're sad or even over happy, for one thing, because then you become euphoric. And if you're euphoric, you think you're invincible. So again, you'll express your will on the market. So you need to be calm. And that's probably why I drink a lot of coffee. Because funny enough, for all it's a stimulant, it actually calms me down. You know, and it helps me quite a lot. And that's why I always have crap music playing all day. You know, because it calms my mind down. It's just something that I use to keep me at peace. Whereas other people like absolute silence. Now, I can't. I like music and noise. You know, then I have my toys. And I play with them. They keep me amused as well. But these are all little things to help my little mind. You know what I mean? And it really is a tough question, Chris. And I do have certain mechanisms in place to help me get back in focus. If I am wildly out of whack, I will just take the day off. I won't trade at all. And I'll come back to it when I feel like my headspace is in the right place. And I'll do something nice to make me feel good. You know, I'll spend the day with Winky, I'll play golf, I'll see my grandchildren, that sort of thing. But I'll do something that'll give me an emotional boost up, and then makes me feel good. And then when I feel good, I can calm down a little bit. But when I'm feeling out of whack with the markets, I have a little exercise that I do that gets me back on point. So I'll open up the screens and I'll go through my entire checklist the way that I would normally do it, because I implore that you have a business plan. Go through your little criteria that you require to enter the market. But rather than enter the market, I'll paper trade it of sorts. And what I do is I don't like sort of trade it and make results or anything like that. I'll put a line on the market where I believe that I'm going to get in. From there, I'll work out where my stop loss would be, my hard stop loss. Mark that in. And then I'll mark in the target that I would expect. Then I'll switch the screen off and I'll diddle away off. And I'll come back to it a couple of hours later and I'll see if I was right. And if I was right, that gives me a boost because I know I can still read the chart. And if I was wrong, I will keep on doing it till I've got myself back in sync with the market. But the one thing that I won't do is change my business plan. You see, when you hit a bad patch, and every trader will, they will hit the wall, if you want to call it the wall, where it doesn't matter what they do, they seem to fail. But that's just because you're out of whack with the markets. Maybe you're not reading the trend right. Maybe you're not reading the direction correctly. You know, you're in a wrong state of mind, so you're forcing the trade because you feel you have to trade. Sometimes you don't have to trade. Sitting on your hands is a position. You know, you're not making anything, but you're not losing anything either. All right? And you've got to discipline yourself to take the right trade. Okay? And that's normally where the emotional high and lows come from. You know, if you hit lucky, woohoo, but that might be the word. You hit lucky. It should be predefined, and you should know exactly why you were getting in, exactly how much risk you were taking on, and then take what the market will give you. Okay? And then you'll be fine. But in order to get back on focus, one, I'll do something that makes me feel good. Secondly, I will read the chart the way I normally read it and just see if I was right. And I will continue to do that till I am right. And then I can get back into what I'm doing. But I won't change my plan, and I certainly won't system hop, because that becomes a vicious circle. You win, you lose, you go back to the start. You win, you lose, you go back to the start. It's horrendous because all systems fail at one time or another. You know, stick with one system and stick with it. You know, and when I say one system for a certain set of conditions that you're looking for, because there is no one fits all. You need a system for trending and you need a system for range-bound markets. Okay, and that's about it. So I hope that kind of makes sense. Bit of a ramble, bit of a hard one, but I think it's something that a lot of people don't touch on. They don't touch on how you deal with the psychology of trading. And as your account grows, the emotions grow with it. And they proper grow. You know, you looking at a £3,000 or £4,000 loss in the face, you have a real different perspective to sitting looking at 3 or 4 quid. Okay, so like I say, do something that makes you happy. For me, I do this video channel, helps calm me down, and I learn as much from you guys as you think that I'm teaching you. Because when you ask me a question, it keeps me sharp. I have to think about it, and I have to answer it. You know, so it helps me as well. You know, keeps the little grey matter running round in my melon head. So with that one, I'm going to leave it and wrap it up. And I'll keep doing these from time to time. I'll see so many questions come in, and I'll answer them. There we go. So remember, guys, do what you love, and money will follow. See you all in the next one.